So can we talk about slavery in the Bible real quick? Because too often I see people that truly embarrass themselves when they talk about it. People like to take 2023 concepts and read it into whatever they're reading. You wouldn't read Plato that way. You wouldn't read about Caesar that way. You wouldn't even read about the history 200 years ago that way. So when you see a word in the Bible from thousands of years ago, don't assume that the word slavery means what you think. You see, in today's society, when you think of slavery, you think of African slavery. You think of people being whipped, beaten, castrated, murdered, and just treated like less than animals. That's what you think. So you immediately say, oh, that's oh my goodness. Do you know what slavery was back then? First and foremost, the word slave often in the Bible is actually coming from bondservant, and the translators put the word slave there. Newer translations that actually understand this word put bondservant. You see, back in those days, they didn't have welfare. They didn't have the government handouts. And they lived in majority desert. So whatever land there was for vegetation and farming, it was probably owned already. There was mainly two types of people back then. People that ran their own business and people that served those that ran their own business. You didn't go get a job somewhere. You were a servant. So you either created your own thing, you had your own craft, you had your own product, or you're a servant. So if you don't have a home, if you don't have food, you go to someone and you give them your life. I'll serve you. Just give me a place to sleep and give me food. If you have a wife and kids, you definitely about to give yourself up. And they come with you. They serve too, so they can eat. So when you read in the scriptures about bondservants and it's saying that you can have them for 6 years and on the 7th year you release them. And if they don't want to go, then you must keep them forever. This is not something that you're thinking of when it comes to African American slavery. Yes, it says things about how you hit them and how you beat them. They were archaic people. You see, God understood that these archaic people used violence to understand things because their logical thinking really wasn't there. God isn't telling them to beat them. He's giving them guidelines. So since that's how they do communicate and that's how they do handle business, I'm going to give you a guideline so you don't go over the guardrail and go too far. God is babying these humans that are new to life, new to existence. Look how dumb we were 500 years ago. Humans took time, and God, being the Father, is babying us along, helping us with our baby steps. But then when we get to the New Testament, you see something like slaves obey your masters. It says if you respond with hate and you get punished for your own sin, what glory does that bring to God? God isn't sitting here saying slavery's okay. He's saying that slavery exists because Roman Empire did have slaves. Now that's the real slavery right there. And God is saying respond with love even in the heart of slavery. You know nothing that you're talking about. Stop.